Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Play to Win podcast, episode 90 of the Play to Win podcast show. We break down the week's biggest gaming news through in-depth discussion. Of course, I'm your host, Tyler, and I'm joined, of course, by my co-host, Tyler. How's it going this week?
It's going good. I got my cat here. He's trying to interrupt our podcast here, but it's going good.
Wants to be the third co-host.
Yeah. He's got some hot takes about 2023, I guess. It runs in the family, but
what was his game of the year for 2022? We never got his take on it last year.
Obviously, he's a profound philosopher like myself, and it's the Entropy Center.
If it was anything,
it's probably Stray. If we're being real,
probably Stray.
He did watch me play a significant chunk of Stray, so the cats were into it.
The kid was just like, wait, hold on, what's going on?
Yeah, they just kind of sat there like, what the fuck are you? The first game they were super into when we got them as kittens was they were entranced by Miles Morales on PS4. Yeah, they loved that game.
They got taste.
It's a great game.
Maybe the bodega cat in that as well. They sensed there was a cat presence in that game too.
Yeah, I think it was just like they could finally see properly and everything, and they were kind of gaining that sense. And they really hadn't seen me play a ton of games before that. So I think it was just that first like colorful thing on the big TV that they saw, and they were just like, both him and his twin sister, they were both just sitting on the floor like, what's going on?
I've always said if I got a pet, right, I would want to name them Sora. And I dread, but also look forward to the day where I play Kingdom Hearts with my pet in the room and they just constantly hear Sora, and they're just like turning their head. It's like, who's calling me? It's like, not you, the one on the screen that you were named after.
Yeah,
love them.
Some of them care about their name, some don't. It's all how much you drill it into their head. Sometimes you try and drill it into their head and they don't care anyway. So it's all a crapshoot. But yeah, ours are all Futurama, not gaming. But there is a Futurama game that I want to add to my collection, but it's like $200 now.
One day when you just got the expendable income to just blow.
It's hard though because I love buying older games, but man, dropping 200 on a game is going to be bad is like hard for me to justify even with the money. I'm hoping I just like find it as a killer deal, like at a garage sale or something, like, not trying to screw the people over, but like, hey, I'll give you $50 for this, or something like that.
That's how much it cost back in the day. I'm willing to pay that much.
Yeah,
right
exactly. Like I'm just basically paying brand new pricing here.
Right. Hope you're enjoying the conversation because it's going to be a fun conversation today, just like that one. Before we get into today's conversation, remember to subscribe to the podcast on podcast services and to the channel over on YouTube, and hit that notification bell as well while you're on YouTube, so that way you know as soon as videos go live. Leave a like, leave a 5-star review, leave a comment letting us know what games you are most hyped for in 2023, because there's a lot coming out this year. There's quite a bit, like
bangers coming.
Yeah, like if 2022 was like a down year for you to start working through your backlog with a bit of big games interspersed throughout the year, 2023 is, as Tyler says, all gas, no brakes.
Yeah,
it essentially, and we're like starting
all
off
offense,
the year,
no defense, baby.
We start off the year all offense, no defense, all gas, no brakes. It is absolutely wild. It's gonna be a tough year for people with backlogs. Yeah, so far, I mean, the first half, yes,
a lot of unknowns,
but like even all those unknowns that we don't know like dates for, like even those, there's still quite a lot of big ones there too. So we're going to start this all off with January. Okay. We're going to kick it off with January. And as we go through the list, either as we come across a game that fits the bill, or once we finish going through everything, we're going to give like our opinion on like some of these games. So like, what we think will be our personal game of the year from like the list of games here, what we think will be our most disappointing game. What's one that we think that we're going to dislike that everyone else is going to be like, all banging the drum on, and also what's our dark horse personally.
I thought of a funny bonus one that's like it doesn't matter, so I'm gonna throw it as a curveball at you at the end, and it's just a for fun one. Don't worry, don't stress about it, but it's definitely funny, and so I'm gonna throw it for you at the end, but I'll just let it be a little surprise.
Okay, I'm gonna keep that in the back of my mind as we go along.
Doesn't need a ton of thought. It's not like something serious. It's just for the lulls.
For the lulls. Okay. Oh my God. I feel like I have an idea. I wonder
It's
like what this
not the
question could
horniest
be.
game of 2023. Don't worry.
Okay, I thought this was
I wouldn't be that obvious.
be.
It's funny. The second it came out of my mouth and I said it's a surprise, I was like, oh, he's probably gonna think that's what it is.
Yeah, that was immediately. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a second. That might be what it is.
What would you call it? The Hody, the horniest of the year?
Probably, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right, let's talk January, my birth month, the first month of the year. Quite a not too many big games coming out this month, but still some notable games overall.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And the first one, I think, just came out yesterday as a recording, January 13th. One Piece Odyssey for all the One Piece fans out there.
This one's for the weebs.
For the weebs, for the weebs, for those who have committed 1,000 episodes of their life to this show. Yeah, I'm not a One Piece person at all. I want to watch it, but I want this game to succeed on the sole basis that it's an anime game that's not like a 3D fighter. It's not an anime game that's just retelling stuff from their show or whatever. Like it's a turn-based JRPG telling its like own story in a way. So I'm like, you know what? I'm into it on that level, and I hope it succeeds on that level. So we get more anime games that are unique and different.
Would this be the funniest game of all time for me to just get weirdly into?
I don't.
If I was just like, I don't know anything about this anime. I don't even care about anime, but I'm just gonna like play this 100-hour game and give an honest review about it.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm not.
But also, I feel like if I don't like it, One Piece fans, I feel like it's such a large audience that they'll be fucking pissed.
They're gonna be like, "How could you not like the greatest game?
Who is this guy? Doesn't even like One Piece."
One Piece is the greatest anime series ever. How could you not like the game? How dare you? Yeah, you'd have all the fans just banging at your door.
That's a lot of hours committing to a bit as well. And if I'm 5 hours in and I hate it, I'll be like, I just wasted $60. So no, I won't do it. But the thought crossed my mind.
Yeah, I don't think it's a 100-hour game though, but still, I hope it's good. I hope it succeeds.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but now I'm going to how long to beat since it's out. You continue to go, but I'll see if we've got a.
I don't know if you'll get an answer because it's like a day old, but
that's true. But sometimes it factors in like
reviews.
Yeah.
Well, coming next week on the January 19th, Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden will release on everything, and they will also be on Game Pass, if I'm correct. I'm excited for these. I want to play both of them, especially Persona 4 Golden, because I've heard so many great things about that one. I never had a Vita. I'm not going to be playing them day one, but I'm happy that they're finally going to be out now for everyone to play on all platforms. And yeah, I'm going to get into these at some point in time. You're not a Persona person, I know.
I'm not a Persona person. So from what I hear, it's more like anthology-ish, or like where you can just play each one in its individual, right?
Yeah, like they have no connection to each other with story and stuff.
I feel like I've heard that 3 and 4 are like better, but then I've also heard people who have said like, hey, there's some insensitive tropes in 3 and 4, and like it doesn't hold up to the test of time in that aspect. So it's like conflicting information, and it's ultimately not. I love the art style so much, but it's not my type of series gameplay wise. So I don't know when I take that. I think for me to get into it, I always get wrapped up in hype. I think it'll be 6 whenever 6 comes out. If they don't do the thing that Royal did, which is, or not Royal, but 5, which is release in the middle of like a hey, just an absolute storm of other, goats. Because 2017, talk about the 2013 could be this generation's 2017. So if it does that, I could see myself like, yeah, let's do it. Let's commit to Persona 6. But I don't think in the meantime, I'll just be like, oh, like I have so many games I need to play and I can't pick which one to play. So like, I don't think it'll be like, let me try Persona 3 Golden, now that it's on especially Xbox. That's not my platform of choice.
Yeah. I mean, it's on PlayStation. It's going to be on everything. It's just on Game Pass.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I know because Xbox made the whole big deal about it at the conference. So
yeah, like they were the first ones they were allowed to make the announcement first, and then like no one else could say they were getting it until like a couple of days later.
Which I understand. I get it.
Yeah. But then I guess I don't want to say sticking kind of sort of anime. We got Fire Emblem Engage coming January 20th for Fire Emblem fans. And then the The same day Monster Hunter Rise, it's coming to PlayStation and Xbox. Previously Switch exclusive, then it came to PC. Now it's going to be on everything, which is awesome. I'm not going to play it. I want to get into Monster Hunter, but I just don't have the time right now. And I'm not a Fire Emblem person either. But hey, a new game in Fire Emblem for the fans, and Monster Hunter just continues to just spread and proliferate.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about either of these games, but congrats to the fans of them.
Right. Now, Forspoken on my birthday, January 24th. I am.
Well, at least one good thing is happening on that day.
Like everyone's hating on this game. Everyone's ragging on it. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, guys, like, come on now. Like, it's not as bad. It is not as bad as we're like making it out to be. Like, it's going to be a good game at minimum. I believe it'll be a good game. Like I said as much when I played the demo.
It screams 5 out of 10 to me, man.
Nah, I'm getting like at least 7 out of 10. Like, of course there will be people score lower, of course, but like I'm betting like the average will be in the 70s on Metacritic. Like that's what I'm betting.
Listen, man, if this is, I could see this being 60s for sure. I don't know. 50s would be rough.
Wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the 60s, but like I'm thinking it's gonna be in the 70s.
There's a universe where this gets 50s. Like it's that bad.
Nah, it's gonna be like if we had a category for like the things of like, oh, game that Will love that everyone else will dislike. I wouldn't say I would love this game.
We can make that. We have one that Will hate that everyone else loves. We can make it Will love, but everyone else will hate.
Well, no, like I just said, I won't love this one. I don't think I'll love it, but I think I'll like it. Whereas so many others will dislike it. You can boo me all you want to, but you can't boo the truth. Okay.
It's a 5 out of 10.
It's gonna be a good time.
I'm going purely on vibes here. I have no desire to play that demo. The more I see of that game, the more my eyes glaze over, and I'm like, no, thank you. If we had like just the emptiest, most barren January ever, which is pretty barren the first part of it, but the problem is 3 days later, we get a game that is so much better coming out.
Yeah, a game that I imagine, like, from everything we've seen so far, the Dead Space remake is looking like it's going to get universal acclaim, just like the first one did on January 27th. I want to play this game. I'm not going to be there day one. I know that for a fact, but I do want to play this game at some point this year because, man, like, You're going
to be too busy playing 5 out of 10s.
No, I'm going to be too busy having a good time with the game I'm going to like. Okay. Let me live. But no, like, I've been getting more interested in like some survival horror games, Dead Space, like I always was interested in the original and the sequel, but I just never played the back of the day. And I
mean, this will be my first time.
Yeah. So like, I really want to play it. I really want to play it. And from everything we're seeing, it looks like EA Motive is going to like really nail it.
It looks good. Yeah. I'm pumped. I'm excited. And I mean, listen, 4 days later, there's another game that could potentially have better scores than Forspoken. So,
Okay.
It'll be a fun week for me.
There are 2 games. One of them could. That being Season of Letter to the Future. It's an indie game.
Get out of here.
Hold on. Season of Letter to the Future, an indie game here where I don't know too much about the story, but you're playing as this girl who's going around basically collecting people's stories and everything, I think, because the world's about to end or something like that. It seems interesting. I'm going to keep my eye on it.
Oh, yeah, this game does seem rad, actually. My bad. There's going to be 2 games better than Forspoken. Yeah. Oh, man, I'm glad I saw this because this game looks sick. I want to play it.
Yeah, like I think there's still a demo out. I don't know if the demo is still out, but there was a demo during the Game Awards. It may or may not still be available. But I'm into it. I'm looking forward to it. That one I could definitely see having higher scores than Forspoken. SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake. Now that's one I could see being 5s and 6s for sure.
A well-regarded cult classic. Listen, man, I'm not saying it's going to be game of the year, but we're talking 6, 6.5, 7.5. Knows what it is. This game is more fun than Forspoken. Listen, I'll die on this hill, okay?
You haven't even played it yet.
I refuse to play Forspoken. This is part of my point. It's not just the cringy writing. It's just, it seems like the, damn it, what's it called? It's focus group the video game. It's just like, what do the kids like these days? And it's just like a dash of this, a dash of that. And that's what Forspoken is. SpongeBob knows what it is. I'm in for it. And I love 3D platformers. I will unabashedly say that.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't, I mean, it's a SpongeBob game. I'm not expecting much from it. So like in my eyes, if a SpongeBob game gets a 7, I'm like, hey, that's pretty good right there. You did a good job.
That's like what Battle for Bikini Bottom is.
What did the remake for that get? Did that get like 7s or what?
I think so. Yeah, I'll look it up. Metacritic the best?
Maybe Metacritic, OpenCritic. I feel like it was like maybe in the 7s at like highest. I think.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't say. Oh, yep. Well, let's see here. So this is the original one back in the day did get 71s. But I'm now looking for. I'm curious if the remake did better or worse.
Rehydrated.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was hydrated enough.
So on Switch it scored lower. It seems like Xbox One came out to 71, so tied, and they gave it 68 on the PS4. So I think it's fair to call it basically a 7.
Yeah, yeah. Well, January kind of a light month. Few big games in there.
There's some stuff there, yeah. If you're willing to,
yeah. But
February, it's a niche month, but a good niche month.
Yes, exactly. February though. February is, I think, the first month where it's like, depending on what you're into, but I think you could say February is the first month where it's like all gas, no breaks. Like it's just one thing after another, day after day after day. Like the longest break between big games is 7 days. And that's between Hogwarts Legacy at the start of the month on February 10th and Wild Hearts on February 17th. After that, everything else
Wild
is like
Hearts,
just days apart.
I forget what that game is. Let me take a look.
That's the Koei Tecmo Monster Hunter lookalike type game.
Oh yeah, it looks fine. Cool. I don't know if I'll be playing it for sure. Is that what we're starting with here? Oh no, or do you want to just start with the game that I will not be playing?
I know you're not playing Hogwarts Legacy, and that is totally fine. I'm into it though. It comes out on PC, PS5, and Series X and S on February 10th. It comes out on PS4 and Xbox in April, and then on Switch in July. They delayed the last gen versions just to get them up to snuff and everything, which, hey, I can't fault you for that. Do what you got to do. Make sure the game's on a good state, good polished state. I'm into it though. I know, it's contentious, it's controversial. We've talked about it before on the show many times. But I'm still looking forward to it.
It's so funny how it's become controversial for like reasons even beyond the initial controversy, like all the things that have come out about the game. Like I say this, there's almost no games I ever want to be bad or bomb. I genuinely hope this game fucking bombs, like truly from the bottom of my heart. So I will definitely not be playing it. And for the reason that I'm not going to be playing it, it will not make my category of game that everyone else will love, but I will hate. But also, I don't think everyone else will love this. So I will save that for a different pick later on.
Yeah, reviews for this game for Hogwarts Legacy
it's going to be
so interesting. It's going to be so interesting to see how this game reviews. Like just because
less than a month.
Yeah, and like for many reasons, because like how much are people going to weigh personal opinions like outside of the game itself, like personal opinions about Harry Potter and JK against the game and all like that. I don't think that'll play too much of a factor, but I can see for some people that playing a factor in their review of the game and all. Like it's just going to be real interesting. And then aside from the outer working, just like the actual game itself, because I think the game looks fun, but I do think there are some other things about the game where it's like, that maybe looks a bit iffy there. Like the combat seems like it could be fun, but it also seems like it could be just like So we'll see, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless.
Yeah, I think outlets will, like they do, ask for people. Like I think this may be like hey, does anyone want to that would traditionally review this want to recuse themselves from reviewing this? And those people will in those scenarios if they feel like they can't morally separate it. So I imagine maybe some people that would traditionally be reviewing it won't be for certain outlets. I think the only time maybe we'll see like more personal opinions coming in on, just the outside context would be someone that just like solo reviews stuff.
Yeah. Wild Hearts though seems cool. Like we said it before, it seems interesting. I'm not gonna be there day one, maybe not at all, period. But
there's just too
it
much.
Seems fun.
That could be one that maybe I play if I'm bored between. Like it really depends on how quickly I burn through Atomic Heart, and I may play Like a Dragon, but I need to catch up on the other Yakuzas. But this is separate, so it's like, do I just bite the bullet? I don't know.
It's a spinoff, so I think
that.
you can.
Yeah.
Atomic Heart. I want you to talk about Atomic Heart on February 21st. That and Like a Dragon Ishin, both February 21st.
Let's fucking go. This is my dark horse. Like legit, I'm so pumped for this game.
Okay.
It's like it's got BioShock like injected with NOS pumping through its veins vibes. Yeah, like give me political context, give me just oh man, it looks so just insanely razor sharp. I think we're gonna get good commentary. I think we're gonna get, hopefully what could tank it would be like, well, does the gunplay suck? And like, I think BioShock, it's serviceable enough. Some people say it's fun. Some people are like, hey, it's decent. But if it's really good, like if it's like Doom levels of just like that fast-paced spontaneousness, mixed with kind of, some of the sci-fi RPG-ish elements that are kind of infused in the bones of BioShock and System Shock from before it. If it's got that fused with Doom's gameplay, fused with just like all of the BioShock kind of context, but in this, taking all of that bones, that core, and just like putting it in the situation that like they've shown so far, like, yeah, it's going to be BioShock, with NOS injected into its veins. Like, let's go. This is going to be something that's just rad as hell.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Whenever I see gameplay for it, I'm just like, man, this looks wild. It looks just like absolutely,
or it could be
bonkers.
Terrible. Like it could just
really
be like
could be
movie level, but like the fact that it could be either is like, it just makes me more excited for it. I'm like, I can't wait.
See, that's the thing. Whenever I see Atomic Heart, I get like B movie AA vibes from it, which is not a bad thing. But because of that, because I get those vibes, I'm like, man, this will either be really cool or it's gonna be just like not at all. And I'm not sure which way it's gonna go. Because part of me also feels like I'm like, man, how much of this is like style over substance? And I'm hoping like you said, like the substance is there, to back up what seems like a really cool game stylistically, artistically, all that stuff. So we gotta wait and see.
Maybe Wolfenstein and BioShock had a baby is a better comparison. I don't know. Because Wolfenstein probably, I would imagine this is gonna be more similar to that in terms of gameplay, but like with some of those sci-fi elements. Who knows? I'm excited for it. If it's a letdown, I'll be bummed, but I am very pumped for it. We've officially got the physical release now, which makes me even more excited for it.
Nice.
I don't have to order it off the developer's website, Best Buy and Amazon, and everything has it listed. So,
well, then a day after Atomic Heart and Like a Dragon Ishin, we get PSVR 2, February 22nd. And alongside that, of course, they have a bunch of other games coming out at launch, but the big one, Horizon Call of the Mountain. I don't imagine either of us are going to be there PSVR 2 day one, whether it be because of price or because we're not able to pre-order or just not that interested at the moment right now. But I am excited for PSVR 2. I hope it's as good as it seems like it can be and should be. I hope that Sony supports it. I hope that Horizon Call of the Mountain is more than just a tech demo and is actually a good, solid game as well. And I hope it really shows the potential of what PSVR 2 can offer in terms of AAA, big budget types of games in the VR space and all like that. I want this thing to succeed, and I want to get it on PSVR 2. It'll probably be months, if not years down the road. But man, I mean, I hope it does well. I hope it has a good start. It's gonna have a rough road ahead of it. It has a long road ahead of it. They got to prove themselves, but I think they can do it. I think they can. Sony's got to back it up.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a little bit at length about PSVR 2 previous episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will not. I somehow got talked out of it, but I mean, I didn't end up having the money anyways for it. But even if I did, I think I probably would have waited, just because it's really just Call of the Mountain, and it's a lot of bones to shell out just for one game.
Yeah.
I would have done it for Astrobot too, but
They're gonna announce
alas,
that the day before PSVR 2
there
releases.
is none. Yeah, so hopefully it's good. Like, I would like there to be a good catalog of games, so that way whenever eventually I do buy one, and I'll probably buy one even if the catalog ends up sucking, just out of morbid curiosity, because I eventually want every system and everything. Like, I like having that stuff in my collection. So
yeah. 2 days later, Octopath Traveler 2 releases on I was about to say October 24th, on February 24th. Never played the first one. I want to. I have it on Game Pass. Haven't got around to it, but I want to play the second one. And I'm into it. I love this HD 2D art style. I'm happy that it's getting a sequel. I'm into it. I'm not gonna be the day one. I want to play this game though. At some point this year, I want to try and make it my mission to play this game.
I'm 100% not playing this game.
Not we a chance. On opposite ends of the spectrum on this.
It's yeah. Early on, it's just like alternating, because we're
gonna
all
be
the things that I'm like, I'm there. You're just like, eh.
Yeah. Again, on this one, Destiny 2 Lightfall on the 28th. I'll be there day one.
No, there's zero chance of that either.
Yeah, I know you're not. I'm into it though. I'm excited to see where Destiny goes from here. The Lightfall story, what this is going to be, the new location, the new powers we're going to get. It's exciting stuff. Destiny fans get hype. Now, that's it for February though. February again, like I said, February. stacked month though. Again, just banger. I was not saying banger, but like big, back to back.
I think it's more interesting to me than it is a guarantee to be good, because there's definitely a universe where like all of this stuff kind of sucks. Like, I don't think they're like a Dragon and Octopath are probably like the safe bets to be just like really solid no matter what. But like, if everything else is a bummer, I don't think anyone will consider this like a banner month. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I changed it from saying banger to actually just like big, because we don't know if all of them are going to be bangers, but they're all big games in their own right.
Now, March, however.
March is a slower month. March.
Oh, see, I feel like March is bringing the heat way more.
Well, here's the thing. There are big games here, but like in terms of how many, it's a lighter month. So we start the month off March 3rd. Last of Us Part 1 comes to BC, and Wolong Fallen Dynasty also releases on March 3rd. You're into this one. You're really into this one,
I think it's going to be a sleeper hit. I think people are going to be into it.
Yeah, I think so too.
This one's going to have some traction. I think it'll be the first truly successful Souls-like. They're not all, I mean, other than maybe the Star Wars game, speaking of later in the month, if you want to count those, but
but remember, they this is from Team Ninja, and they also made the Neo games, and the Neo games, they were successful. They were true. Pretty well liked.
But yeah, I always forget those because I never played them, just because they seem too hard.
If anything, I mean, based on what I've heard, they are really difficult.
Yeah, they're incredibly difficult from what I've heard. But yeah, I'm into this. I hope it's really good. Will I beat it? Who knows? Because it may be incredibly hard as well, but I'll still buy it for sure and probably enjoy it. And then at a certain point, if it's too hard, just go, you know what? I've had my fun with this. But I think, for me, it's all quality, not quantity necessarily. Like the last month, February, I don't know if it has the quality necessarily. This to me is just like the sleeper hit of the month with this one. And then you've got like two just absolute tentpole bangers at the end of the month, and then this weirdo Bayonetta game thrown in the middle of the month.
Right, so we have Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon on March 17th, right there in the middle of the month. I'm not gonna play it. I have no interest in it. Maybe Bayonetta fans are like frothing at the mouth for it, or like maybe they're more into it. This is not on my radar at all. But what is on my radar, it is on everyone's radar. On the same exact day, Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be a step up from Fallen Order, which I liked Fallen Order. but it had
I still
technical
need to play it. I
issues.
still need to play it. I played like the first hour.
Man, like it had technical issues. And like I thought the story was fine. I didn't think it was like this like amazing story that people made it out to be. And like at the end of the day, I was like, this is a good Star Wars game. And I feel like because everyone was like, this is the first really good Star Wars game we got in a while. It's like the best Star Wars. It's like it's one like the game of the year contender and all. This game, I feel like, I mean, for what we've seen, it looks like it's learning all the lessons from the first one. Can't speak on the technical side of things, but hey, I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping it lands because I
The
really want
trailers,
to be
yeah,
all in on this.
look killer.
Yeah, I might be there. I'll probably be there day one for it. You know, money provided and everything.
Same.
But yeah, I'm into it. And then 7 days after that, Resident Evil
day one, 4. Baby.
That's a day one for you.
For sure. Oh, 100%.
Talk to me. Tell me why you're so excited about Resident Evil 4.
I mean, it's Resident Evil 4. It's so important to the history of video games. As someone that's never played it, this is perfect time. I'm in. It looks great. I trust the quality. Resident Evil Remake 2 is really good. Didn't play 3. But I think Capcom's basically earned everyone's trust at this point for these games being quality. And this one especially looks insanely high quality. And this one, like, there's just a certain feel to certain games where you're like, this is important. I know this is going to be good and I should pay attention at least. And for me, I usually feel the obligation to play those games as well. So I think this one's just like got good vibes around it. The same way, you know, you feel like, oh man, like, how's Hogwarts Legacy going to land the ship? It's all this, like, it just seems like it's got everything going against it. Like, it seems like everybody's on board for RE4 remake, and it's nothing but like good things. Outside of the occasional weirdo fan in the comments who'll be like, nothing will replace the original. I don't like that they're changing things, but other than that,
why can Leon move and shoot at the same time?
Yeah.
No.
But other than that, like, I think this one's going to be pretty good. Who knows? Maybe I'll love it. Maybe it'll be like serious GOTY contender for me. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I'm also not saying it's impossible.
I'm on the same page as you. I think it'll be up there as a GOTY contender for many people. From everything we've seen so far, it looks like they are really honoring the original game by, like, you know, sticking to the original game, but also evolving it in the same way that Resident Evil 2 evolved the original one. You know, just like modernizing it, making smart changes to the gameplay, expanding, I guess, certain story aspects that might not have been there in the original. I haven't played the original, full disclosure and all, just going based off things I've heard, conversations I've seen, footage we've seen, and all like that. But because I'm getting more interested in survival horror stuff, I want to play this game. And the closer we get to it, the more I'm like, man, like, I'm not going to be there day one.
Let it flow through you. I like that you've become more pro survival horror. I'd like to think I've had an effect on the podcast that way.
Right. And it's like, I want to play the original. And I'm like, do I play the original before I play the remake? And then after the remake comes out, because I'm going to play this after it comes out. Like, I'm not going to be there day one for this remake. But it's like, do I just play the remake and just not even bother with the original? I feel like I'll have to wait, see what reviews say, and go from there. But knowing myself, like, I would like to have the context of the original in my mind. That way, when I play the remake, I can do the back and forth, you know? Because I mean, the original, it's easy to play. It's not like for RE2 where, like, I can't play the original, so I just got to play the remake. It is what it is. So I don't know. But Resident Evil 4, definitely one of the most anticipated games of the year. Good. It should end up being one of the best games of the year. Like, it has everything going for it, just like you said.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on into April, making our way through the spring. And April, as of right now, is actually a very low-key month. There are only
this is
two.
A dead zone.
Yeah.
For the time being.
This is going to be where you catch up on games you might have missed already and maybe go through your backlog if you can, as of right now. But the first big one of April, and arguably the biggest one, is Horizon Forbidden West, the Burning Shores DLC on April 19th. Of course, I'm going to be there day one. I'm very excited for this. I really enjoyed Forbidden West. Looking forward to going to LA and exploring there and seeing where the story goes, and I guess what it decides to do in terms of like lay more breadcrumbs and set up for the next game in the series, because Horizon 3 is imminent. It's going to be happening.
Yeah, despite being the Horizon negative Nancy for this podcast, I will very much be there day one as well.
Yeah, it seems like it'll be a fun time for sure. And then 9 days later, on the 28th, it's Dead Island 2, which, barring any final last minute delays, will actually finally be released. And you know what's weird is that I never played the first Dead Island. I played Dying Light though. First Dying Light, loved it. And I have Dying Light 2. I've yet to play it though. And I want to play Dead Island 2, but I'm actually not sure if I should just like wait on Dying Light 2 and just play this instead. Like, they seem like they're obviously two very different games. Dead Island 2 seems like it's going to be way more just like fun and wacky with its zombie stuff, whereas Dying Light 2 is, far more serious and all. And I'm just like, man, I don't know which one I'm actually thinking is going to be better. Which one's going to be more interesting?
It's a good question. I've been wanting to play Dying Light 2, but I felt like every time it went on sale, I wasn't really ready to purchase it. And then when I'm ready to purchase it, it's not on sale. So it's like, but it's also, I don't want to play it for 100 hours. I would kind of mainline the story. So it's like, and that's not its strength. So I don't know. This game, the Dead Zone may be the reason I play it ultimately. 2 weeks. It's just like, how bored am I? The NFL draft will probably have just passed. There's not a lot going on, I still have a month till I move. So it'll be like, 2 weeks till Breath of the Wild. Maybe I check this out, if something else moves into that slot, probably not playing. But for now, I'll like tentatively slate that.
Where do you think the Metacritic is going to fall on this? Like, realistically, at the end of the day, given how long this game's been in development, but also, just like what we've seen off of it and everything, do you think it's going to be a good game?
Whatever this game has been scrapped. I think this is a completely different game. I'm going to go 73.
73? Okay, solid. I thought you were just going to say like a range like in the 70s, but 73 specifically. All right, if we're getting specific.
Throw it on the dartboard.
You're getting specific. I'll go a bit higher. I'll say 76. We got a bit under.
I was hoping you were going lower. I felt like I might have been a little too negative. But it's not coming from a place of negativity. I just don't know. And I feel like Metacritic's a tough cookie. Like,
yeah.
Like even the greatest of all time, those aren't hundreds. So,
right. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like good vibes from it. I think it'll be it looks like it could be fun and just interesting.
But
in the marketing,
good vibes. Meme good vibes can be misleading.
I don't know. No, they're not meme good vibes for me, at least. Like I don't know if it was the last piece of marketing they put out where they kind of like showed you the different characters you could play as and all like that, and showed you like more of the gameplay and everything. Like, it just seemed like they understood. Like, yeah, we are not serious at all. Like Dead Island, we're leaning into the fact that you're here for a good time, not a long time. You're here just to kill zombies with a katana and do some wacky stuff with it. So just have fun. And they're leaning into it. They acknowledge it. I think it should be fun. I'm looking.
It'll be interesting, yeah. But I was talking about goats. Speaking of the goat, the best game of all fucking time is getting a sequel. And it's coming. Like, we assume we've seen literally what feels like nothing of this.
We have basically seen nothing for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
I'll keep it till the end of the segment, but I have zero faith this is coming out. And yet
you don't think it's coming out on
right?
that day?
Yeah.
Wow,
oh yeah, the game's coming out. They gave it a name in box art. Nintendo's going to release it. It feels like the right time, right? Like, I have now, especially, like, I know Zelda games have released in the fall, but I feel like Breath of the Wild, it coming out in March, I had just like, I don't know if you know, but like March in Arizona is definitely not cold. It's like 60, 70 degrees. So I have like that springtime memory and association. Something about it felt right playing Breath of the Wild while spring's going on in the background. So now it's like, okay, will summer feel right? It just feels right. But at the same time, gun to my head, or if they're like, is it getting delayed or is that coming out? I'm like, it's getting delayed for sure.
Wow. I think they're sticking to it. I don't think it's getting
We
delayed.
see nothing from it. Like, I want badly to believe it's just Nintendo playing it close to the chest.
That's what I think it is. That's what I think it is.
This little, I don't know. I'm skeptical about the release date. Now, what I will say is I've been thinking about it a lot. I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I do think there's a world where this will places Breath of the Wild as my GOAT. Because I think if it just takes all of the bones and the DNA and the best parts about Breath of the Wild, which is just the explorability, how magical it feels to discover things, all of the systems and how it just like lets you completely run free with them, solve things however you want. It does not care as long as you play within the rules of the systems. And then it adds it on, and there's like, it feels like there's going to be some kind of twist, some kind of hook for how it like changes the world around you. And like, I think if it kind of changes the world in a meaningful way and maybe gives us a cooler environment to search around, like I think there's a path where the story and the hook and the twist combined with everything else like equals better game. Not saying it's for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe it was still ultimately just doing it a second time won't feel as magical, but I think there's a way for them to do it where it feels so new that even someone like me who reveres that game would be like, oh shit, this beat it. This is even better.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to do when something's your favorite game for sequel to just like you with Ragnarok is like, it's hard for that game to just come in and be like, we're better now, you know?
I was about to say, it's kind of like the God of War problem. I only say that since it's like a more recent example of a game where like the first one is considered a masterpiece and the sequel is like, okay, how do we top that? Like, how do we make ourselves a masterpiece as well? And, you know, it's really tough to do that when everything about the first one was just like so laser focused and perfect and everything like that. Yeah, I think Tears of the Kingdom, I don't believe it's getting delayed at all. I think they're locked in on it. I think Nintendo's just been
interesting.
And the thing is, like, I even wrote like a little blog myself, or on my blog, comfyspot.wordpress.com, about like, hey, why are they being so weird? Like, what's up with this marketing? And it's like, I think it just boils down to Nintendo's doing it because they know they can. Like, they know
they accepted that Zelda doesn't sell as well as some people think, and they're just like, why do we need to market this thing 5 months ahead of time? Just keep the secret so the fanboys love it, and we'll fucking throw out an ad a month or 2 months before it launches.
See, that's the thing. I think they're like, this is a sequel to Breath of the Wild. We can be as secretive as we want to be, and people will buy this game because it is a sequel to Breath of the Wild. And like of course, they'll start showing more as we get closer. But I think like the whole thing about like, yeah, the title's a spoiler. Tears of the Kingdom. Well, what does that spoil? Nothing. It tells us nothing. You know, so it's like, okay, I wonder why we're being so secretive. And I think part of it was because, you know, they're trying to figure out things in development and all like that. COVID definitely threw a wrench of things for sure in Nintendo's development wheelhouse and stuff. But I think at the end of the day, now that we have this date and we've seen basically nothing, every time we see footage, we see a lot of footage that is very similar to what we've seen already in terms of showing us practically the same stuff and just in a new set of 15, 20 seconds. But I think that the next time we see it, we're going to get a very substantial good look at this game. And that's what we need to see the next time we see this game. But when it ultimately comes out and is all said and done, I'm hoping that, like you said, that they figure out a way to make the world and make the gameplay feel fresh or new again. You know, like we have this whole area in the sky. What is that going to add to Hyrule? What is anything on the ground, on the land? Is that good? Is anything there going to be different from how it was in Breath of the Wild? I would hope so. That way, it's not like we're playing on the exact same map all over again. Me personally, I hope that'd be a major bummer. Yeah, me personally, I hope that the world I hope that the world gives me more of that pull to explore. Like I said it when we were talking about Elden Ring. I think I said it during the Game of the Year episode. If not, it was when we were talking off show and everything, off the record and stuff. But Elden Ring's world, I felt like it has such a personality in a way that Breath of the Wild didn't, Breath of the Wild's world, the world isn't bad. It's a cool world. It's a good world, but I just don't feel like a personality there to Breath of the Wild's world. So I hope Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, see, I certainly did, but
and again, that's a personal thing. So like, I hope that it adds more of a personality, and I feel like, man, like this is Hyrule. This feels awesome. It feels I want to explore everything there. I hope that it's just a more. I just feel that pull that I never really. I felt at times with Breath of the Wild, but not the entire time.
I think part of Breath of the Wild's charm, though, and like I would say this is Zelda in general, is the personality and the charm of the world is more cryptic. It's definitely more subtle. And it's like some people will just be like, well, I don't get it. And it's like, well, if you don't get it, you kind of just don't get it. It's hard to explain. Whereas like, to Elden Ring's credit, I think it's also similar, but Elden Ring also has giant enemies and stuff. And so it's like the cryptic stuff is just bigger and more fascinating to some people. And I get that. But yeah, like, I don't know if there's a way to bridge the gap. Like, I want the world to be similar in the sense that like the whimsical things, the things I want to explore are the same, but at the same time, I would like I think the story being more tight, like trying to somehow perfectly get the best of both worlds, to not lose the freedom and the control, but also it's so hard to get that. Like ultimately, to get a tight, cohesive narrative story that feels engaging and rewarding, and also have everything that made Breath of the Wild so amazing. Those are kind of at odds. They're conflicting, but if anybody can do it, I do believe that they can do it. This game being as good as it can be would be the second best thing to happen to me this year. First is obviously if the Dallas Cowboys win a Super Bowl. Sorry, Breath of the Wild. Sorry, Tears of the Kingdom. Nothing can beat that. But your second, number 3, probably Severance Season 2. That show fucking rules.
Moving on from Breath of the Wild. Well, Breath of the Wild. You got me saying it. That's not really.
Yeah, I know. It's just
Moving on from Tears of the Kingdom. Also in May, we have
another
Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League on May 26th, which I forgot what game it was we were talking about before, but I can see this going either way, actually. Like, we still know very little about what the game actually plays like and stuff. The premise itself is cool, but we know basically nothing about the gameplay, and I'm just like, I gotta know more about that. Mind. We gotta see more about it in order to go either way on it.
And I saw a tweet the other day, and it really helped me solidify my opinion. And it was just like, I just trust Rocksteady. And I was like, you know what? Same. It's going to be good. Against all, like, they haven't had a game in forever. Gotham Knights kind of sucked. I know that wasn't them, but it's like the vibes around the franchise, not great. And the great ones, just pull it out, man. I believe Rocksteady's one of them. I think this game's just going to come out and be heat, like we're all going to be like, holy shit, it's good. We don't know how they did it, but this game rules. I mean, we'll probably all still be obsessed playing Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm going to binge it. Like I said, like heroin, I'll be done with it. So I'll be ready to move on.
I mean, like not the same developer, but I mean, like, we all trusted BioWare and then Anthem happened. So, I mean, that's not to say that a trusted developer
different.
Isn't able
they
to
lost
put
a
out
lot of
something.
People and EA meddled.
Which is true. Again, that's why I said not the same developer. Like, it's not exactly apples to apples.
I've never really played BioWare games, but I feel like the general vibe is Dragon Age Inquisition is mid as hell, right? Like, that's...
I think it depends on who you ask.
People with taste say it's mid.
I didn't play Dragon Age Inquisition either, but I think it depends on
I think
who
it
you
comes
ask
down
and
to
everything.
I think the Dragon Age fanboys are like, it's actually pretty good, but like people that are just more overall BioWare fans were like, not really that good.
Not sure. But Suicide Squad, I mean, I trust Rocksteady too. I'm hoping that it is good. I'm hoping that it lives up to all the expectations that come with being Rocksteady's next game after all this time.
It will.
I want it to. I want it to. And I'm not going to say it will. I'm just going to leave it at that. I want it to. I hope it does.
I believe in the developers that made Arkham City. Not in the developers that made Arkham Knight, because I don't want any of that combat or that vehicle combat in this game. I believe in the developers that made Arkham Knight or Arkham Knight or not Arkham City, not Arkham Knight, that they can come back. They're going to do it. I believe in them.
You know who's making a comeback?
I'm looking at our next game. Oh, yeah.
I thought you were actually gonna take a guess, but yes, Street Fighter 6, June 2nd, kicking off June with a bang, really, with a nice just Hadouken, Shoryuken, everything. I'm I'm not gonna be there day one, but I'm going to play Street Fighter
Same.
6 at some point this year. Like everything
The
about
problem
it is
is-
just speaking to me.
The problem is I'm moving in the beginning of June,
Yeah.
E3. So I'm going to do my best to like stream coverage while in my garage, I'm converting with my brother and whatever, maybe we'll team up and stream or something. And also Diablo 4 is coming out. So Street Fighter's got a lot of things that are working against it, but it looks really cool. And we all know the summer's usually boring. So I'll probably check it out later June, July kind of thing, Still no football or any good sports going on, just baseball. So I'll definitely probably get bored enough to buy and try Street Fighter 6.
Yeah. And like you said, Diablo 4 is June 6th, 4 days later, which I also want to play. I don't know if I'll be there day one.
So in.
I don't know if I'll be there day one. Between Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4, I think I'll be there day one for one of them, not both. I'm just not sure which it's going to be yet. Also, it depends on if I have the money at the time too.
Well, that'll be Game Pass though.
That is true. Wait, is that confirmed? That's the Activision Blizzard game that's not confirmed yet.
I don't believe I feel confirmed. Like we got it confirmed. I could be wrong, but I can.
You can look that up, but I don't believe it's confirmed. I believe if that acquisition goes through, it'll go to Game Pass shortly after, but I don't think it's confirmed as of yet. Gotta wait on that one. But Diablo 4.
No, you're right. Yeah, currently no plans.
Yeah, Diablo 4. I've never played a Diablo game, but Diablo 4 again, just like Street Fighter, it's speaking to me in so many different ways. Just the style, the gameplay, something different. I'm into it, man. I'm so
I love dungeon crawlers like Diablo. My girlfriend, big Diablo person. So we'll definitely probably co-op that, and then also be living with my brother at that point. So maybe it'll just be like all of us playing Diablo.
That'll be fun. A nice co-op, just adventure loot romp together.
Yep.
Now
I love them. So I'm ready. For me, I talked about that previously. Just like, I don't need to see any more of it. I'm in. Let's get it out. Let's get it going.
I can say the exact same things for Final Fantasy 16, June 22nd. I'm there day one. I don't need to see another lick of footage. Just give me the game. I'm there. I'm with you all. Naoki Yoshida, Square Enix, I'm there. I'm ready to go explore Valisthea with Clive and Jill, and I'm Sid and the dog. I forgot the dog's name, but I'm ready to go explore the land. All right.
I know you dabble in physical. Are you considering getting the Steelbook just because the cover for 16 is kind of hideous? Because I'm at that point.
I'm not. that didn't cross my. I'm gonna get the. I want to get
because the Steelbook looks cool.
I want to get the deluxe edition just because it comes with some cool stuff. The Steelbook is one of those things, but I have no problem with the box art. The Steelbook box art is better than the regular box art. That cannot be denied in any way, shape, or form. But I'm there. 16. I'm
buying it for sure. For me, the less I watch of it, the more likely I am to play it. I feel like the more I watch it, I'll be like second guessing myself, especially because from what I'm hearing, this is like going back to the more medieval Final Fantasy stuff, which is not, generally speaking, I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm a sci-fi over medieval kind of person, or Middle Earth, Middle Earth is specifically Tolkien, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're not really into fantasy like that.
Yeah, fantasy, like high fantasy. Thrones was kind of the exception for me, and that's because of how like dark and political and real it is. Yeah. But I generally tend towards the sci-fi kind of thing. But I liked 7 so much, 7 remake, the first part, so much that I'm like, I'm gonna give this a chance. I believe these games can be good, and and that I specifically can think they're good. So I'm gonna give it a chance. But like the more stuff I watch, I'm like, don't see it. Like, just play it, because I feel like it'll feel better in my hands than it will in a trailer.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get a demo for this game, because 7 Remake got a demo, and Square Enix has been good about doing demos for their games.
That demo sold me on it being good too.
Yeah, like I thought it was gonna be good from the moment we saw like gameplay of it at that E3, but once I played that demo, I was like, oh, this is it. But
as someone that's not a Final Fantasy person, I was like, well, I can do this without paying $50. And I was like, oh, this is really good. And So I ended up playing it. I didn't play it day one. I ended up playing it like later in the year, but I was super into it.
Yeah. So I feel like we'll get a demo for it, and that demo will be cool. 15 also got a demo as well. So
Yeah, so
16
that
stands to
just seems
reason.
like why wouldn't
Yeah.
it at this point?
And that's really all the big games that we
That's what we
have
know,
dated up
folks.
to June. After that, we really don't know the dates of
Speculation.
many other games after this point. So we have a list of games here that are not dated, big games that are not dated for
There's some
2023.
I'm just letting everyone know there's some real junk in here. So we definitely
Yeah,
can speed run some of it.
yeah, we could definitely speed run some of it. Some others we might have other things to say.
For
Age
sure,
of,
yeah.
Age of Empires 4 is supposed to come this year. Alan Wake
Ooh.
2 is listed, and I got this all off Wikipedia's 2023 list of games and all like that. So this all may or may not be accurate.
Alan Wake 2, though? Hell yeah, let's go.
I'm not gonna play it, but I'm happy it's happening.
Oh,
And
I'm playing
it's
it.
definitely way more like horror focused. It seems like than the first one for sure.
I really dug the first one, so I'm in.
Then we have Arc Raiders, which I forgot who's developing this game, but it's a game we saw a trailer for last year where like you're soldiers on the ground and you can like do like jetpack into the air. You're going up against like these giant machines and all like that. It seemed rad. It seemed really freaking cool. So I'm into that one. Then there's Arc 2 starring Vin Diesel. That still blows my mind. That first trailer, he just comes in, just like, what is happening here? What is this?
Ark's a popular game. Good for the people that like it. I have nothing
Yes,
else to say.
neither do I. Um, you know what? I'll talk about this right now. Assassin's Creed Mirage. That's supposed to come out this year. Don't have a date right now, but that's supposed to come out this year. I'm gonna tie that in right now with Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, as well as Skull and Bones. Okay, so we can briefly talk about the state of Ubisoft real quickly. Skull and Bones was supposed to release on March 9th. This week, Ubisoft said, "Hey, it's delayed. It's coming in the early. It's coming early in our 2023 to 2024 fiscal year, which I believe starts in April." So when it's supposed to come out now, who exactly knows? You would imagine they say early, so maybe April to June ish around then. But it's been delayed yet again for the sixth time. And coming from this also reveals that like Ubisoft has canceled, I think, 6 or 7 unannounced games. And then they're like putting more of a focus on two. They said they have like 2 or 3 other big unannounced games that are set to release this coming fiscal year and all. And they're really going to try and pump focus into their existing IP and big franchises and stuff. And they're like, yeah, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope underperformed. We're like, we gotta like, make some adjustments financially because we're not doing too hot right now. And then E said to the developers, hey guys, we're not in the best spot right now. I'm paraphrasing, of course. So it's on you guys to step it up and get our games in the right shape to get us back to where we can be.
I think Ubisoft should just sell PlayStation Rayman, so I never have to care about Ubisoft.
Just give it to PlayStation. Like PlayStation just have this. So it's like it's crazy seeing the state that Ubisoft's in right now. Like a decade ago, Ubisoft was like huge, killing it and everything. And nowadays they're trying to chase battle royale trends, and those aren't working out. All their games are kind of like turning into these huge live service things that kind of all feel the same and are varying levels of successful and stuff. Assassin's Creed is just crazy bloated and all.
Siege is like carrying their ass because like people love that game. If it wasn't for Rainbow Six Siege, which had a miraculous comeback, it just feels like they'd be swimming and just like lost at sea, not knowing what to do. No pun intended, skull and bones. But
right.
And it led to you jokingly saying on Twitter that like, is this a money laundering scheme as well? And like, listen, all I'm saying is we can't rule out Ubisoft as a whole at this point as now being taken over by some sort of mafioso, some mob, members, or possibly the entire organization being mob run. Maybe it's all just money laundering now.
Yeah. So like Assassin's Creed Mirage and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, like those are their 2 biggest games that they have set to come out in the next year or so. They need to hit. Like Ubisoft needs a win right now, and I hope because I like Ubisoft, I liked their games and everything. So I want them to, keep on succeeding and, thriving and everything. So I hope these next two big games from them hit. I hope they do well. Because if not, it's gonna be we're gonna be hearing Ubisoft acquisition talks again pretty soon, and I feel like the next time is gonna be like it's because it's actually happening, like someone's actually acquiring them. Now,
that would be one if like Microsoft acquired Ubisoft, it'd be like, cool, don't give a shit.
like I still wouldn't. I still wouldn't want like a Sony
Rayman games they put out.
I still wouldn't want a Sony or a Microsoft to acquire them because just on the basis of like I don't believe a platform holder should own a publisher like that because I feel like that's just like that just gives too much control over too many franchises that were once like everywhere. You get what I mean? Like on that level, I'm just like I don't agree with it. But like at the same time, it's like if it needs to keep them afloat, I guess like I'm fine with it on the level of keeping them afloat and alive, but I don't know how that balances out of which one weighs heavier than the other.
Honestly, I'm a fan. I prefer the method of fire sale all the IP. Like Microsoft, here's Rainbow Six. PlayStation, here's Rayman and something else. And then like Assassin's Creed, we'll give it to the studio that makes Assassin's Creed. Do whatever the hell you want with it. Because that one feels like a true multi-platform game. It would just feel weird to have that be exclusive to a system.
Yeah. Again, just like Elder Scrolls, it feels weird. It would feel weird having that exclusive to a system. Call of Duty, it would feel weird having that exclusive to a system. Hopefully that
Call of Duty, yeah. Elder Scrolls, I mean, like, will it feel weird that there's not a PlayStation version? Kind of, but also, I'm not the biggest Elder Scrolls guy, so I'll be fine. I know I'm just making enemies on this podcast, just like casually dropping games that people below and being like, I don't give a shit.
I'm gonna skip over some here. Go right to Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty, the DLC for 2077.
Exoprimal doesn't do anything for you?
Well, no, I skipped over Atlas.
Yeah, I know. It was a joke.
Exoprimal does nothing for me. It's wacky and weird and all like that.
We're skipping that one too. Yeah, just to clarify.
But Phantom Liberty, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know when it's coming out, which I'm happy about because I do want to go back to Cyberpunk and like maybe do a second playthrough again. Now that it's been fixed and then things are better within the gameplay and all. But I'm looking forward to going back to Night City. I'm looking forward to going to it, doing some stuff with Mr. Idris Elba, more stuff with Keanu. Should be fun.
I'll probably play it just so I can adequately be a hater. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to know your enemy well enough. Yeah, I don't know. And then I'm like, well, do I want to play a game that I'm pretty sure I won't like, or should I just go and try and play The Witcher for the 8th time?
Witcher's high fantasy, maybe not.
But it's not the high fantasy that I don't like. It's always like the gameplay is just whatever, and it doesn't hook me. That's what it always is.
One for me, not for you. That's Eternites, the anime Persona type style looking game. I'm into it.
No, Eternites. Hold on. I think if this is the game I'm thinking of.
You sure? Really? Hold on. If he's into this, I'm surprised. I didn't think you were gonna be. Actually, I don't think.
They showed this at the PlayStation one last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this game looks fucking rad. It's like Persona, but it looks cooler to me. It's just I don't know. It's the fact that it's new and it's a fresh start and it's a little different. And also, I think I remember kind of funny. They were talking to the people that made it or whatever, and there was a quote, or maybe they just pulled a quote, but they were like, they're influenced by Persona. I forget what the influence was that they also added into it. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like the juice it needs for me to be like into it. So I'm here for this game. I want to play this.
Yes, one of us. This
is 100%. We could do a spoiler cast for this bad boy. I'm in.
Let's go. We could also definitely do one for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, whenever that drops. Yeah. They say it's next winter.
If it drops this year,
yeah,
that might be my dark horse.
They said it's next winter. If it actually drops winter 2023, so like December, that's wild. But winter also extends to January, February, and March of 2024, which I think is more
right. Like March 2024 feels right,
Yeah. I mean, the first 7 remake came out at the
like March, I think.
It was either end of March or beginning of April. No,
yeah,
it was end of March. Yes, that's correct.
That feels right for this game, but
I got a mail to my house because of COVID. I had already pre-ordered it and everything, so I had it mailed to my house from GameStop. I said, send it to me. No, it was April. That's what it was. Because Persona came first. and that got mailed to me. Then I got 7 Remake from Best Buy, had that mailed to me. I remember the order and everything now.
Yeah. If this comes out this year, though, that's just, I mean, it adds to the stack of
For sure.
absolute heat. I mean, I love the first one actually, like unironically. And so I'm so in on this one. I need to play Crisis Core though.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
You played
it's
Crisis
fun.
Core, right?
Yes, I did. I'll talk about
like
it
recently.
I played during the break.
How integral would you say it is for someone, especially that's never played the original one, to getting some needed context going into what we assume? Well, I mean, this isn't the end of it, right? It's a trilogy, I think.
Yeah. So this remake project is a trilogy. I'll talk about it more during when we're doing what we've been playing, because I have weird thoughts about it. About it. But I'll talk about that at the end of the show for sure.
Okay.
Forza Motorsport, that's coming back this year.
That's gonna happen. Yeah.
Not exactly sure when, but it's happening. We should be hearing about it during the Xbox Developer Direct that is happening January 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, where they said there's gonna be Forza Motorsport will be there, Elder Scrolls Online, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall will all be there. They said there's not going to be any hosts. It's just going to be like, going into the studios and seeing direct gameplay from them and all like that. So imagine we'll hear a release date probably pretty soon, I imagine. I feel like that game is coming in kind of soon. But yeah, look, I'm not going to play it. I'm not a simulation racer type of guy, but
I'm definitely not playing this.
It should be good.
That game, I believe the quality, yada, yada. I just don't care about those.
Yeah.
I play car racers exclusively. I'm not good at racing. I have pretty solid car skills in real life, but I am trash the second you hit a controller. It's just something about it. I'm decent at Mario Kart. I'm all right.
Right. Then we got 3 indies here, or varying levels of indie. We have Goodbye Volcano High, which
looks fun.
Yeah, heard about it a couple years ago. That's the one with the dinosaur people in high school and everything. It's kind of like a narrative-based game. Still haven't seen it since then, I think, since it was first announced, but should be coming this year. Then I'm going to skip over the second one, Lies of P. That is the Pinocchio Souls-like that looks to be taking a lot of inspiration from Bloodborne, which I'm into. Don't know if I'll play it, but I'm into it. And that is a Game Pass game. That is a Game Pass Day 1 game.
100%. I got Steel Rising this year and Dolmen. This is 100% going into my whenever someone comes over that likes video games, did you know this game existed meme collection? It's just like
Pinocchio Souls-like.
They're just like, have you played this? No, absolutely not. Puts it back on the shelf. I played it for 10 minutes. It was awful.
I wonder if you'll play Hollow Knight Silksong though for 10 minutes, then just like put it away.
I want to like Hollow Knight. And it's not that I dislike it, but I played it for like 30 minutes and I was like, this game is going to be hard. And it's 100% the kind of thing you have to like look up a guide for or something, because it's like very directionless. And it was just like, when I started it up, I was like, I don't have time for this. Like I'm not in the right headspace to play this game. Because you have to like want the challenge. You have to be like willing to be like, what do I do next? And I was just like, listen, man, say what you want about me, but I want something that's like, it doesn't have to hold my hand, but at least be relatively clear where you're going next. And Hollow Knight was just like, I don't know where I'm going. I keep dying. We're going to try this another day, guys.
Yeah, I haven't played the first one yet. I have it on PlayStation Plus, so I can play it whenever I want to. I haven't gotten around to do it. I want, like sit down, set aside time to do it. But I mean, it should be dropping in the first 6 months of the year because it was in Xbox's E3 show last year. And they said everything here is coming in the next 12 months. So you would imagine it should be coming by June. Hopefully Hollow Knight fans will finally be able to, feast on that game. And then arguably, one of the biggest games will probably be the best-selling game of the year. Marvel Spider-Man 2. Let's go. Fall 2023.
Yeah.
I'm ready, baby. Give me more Spider-Man.
I think it's happening this year.
They said fall.
I really do.
They said fall 2023. I don't think it's getting
delayed. I know, but it could be delayed, yada, yada. I think it's Insomniac. Sparkling record. I think it's for sure. It's for real happening, and I cannot wait.
Neither can I, man. I was playing Miles Morales a bit this week. Just so I felt like playing a bit of Spider-Man. Because it's a game where I jump into it sometimes just to swing around. And this week I said I'll swing around and do like one story mission because why not? I didn't even do a story mission. I swung around and did a bunch of side stuff, and then it's like, all right, cool. Now I'll have my fun with that for today. Uh, but man, like it just reminded me, they just did so well with the Spider-Man games. Just gameplay feel, the way the world is. It's awesome, man. I can't wait for more of that. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, Peter and Miles. It'll be great.
Right? Like, oh my god, I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like. All right, and then there's not many big ones left after this. Metal Slug Tactics and Minecraft Legends are both supposed to be coming this year. Pikmin 4 at long last supposed to be coming this year. We've only seen like a few screenshots and 30 seconds of in-game footage, but no gameplay. But it's supposed to come this year, so Nintendo will deliver most likely. Planet of Lana, though, indie game. I'm looking forward to that one quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I'm pulling that one up right now. I think that one might be a day one for me.
I think it's if I have the time, it's going to be a day one.
Oh yeah,
yep.
Mm-hmm.
It looks awesome.
It's 100% a day one for me. Yeah.
Look, yeah, looks super cool. Also a day one for me. The Plucky Squire. That one seems really awesome. That's the indie where
it's funny. Just the name, I was like, ew, that because it's such a terrible name. But oh, holy shit, yes, this game, 100% absolute day one.
Yeah, like not skipping that one. That's a don't skip in any way, shape, or form. Gotta play that one.
That's if the story is like, actually, if it's like Celeste, where it's like, oh, there's a lot more going on here, that's like a dark horse, in my opinion. Cause like that if the gameplay is solid, like if it's got more depth than you think, and then all of a sudden, now it's obviously it's a lot of expectations. If it's just cute, that art style and it's fun, that's solid. But it's like it's got just everything it's got we've seen is special. So there's a little more bubbling underneath the surface. That's just making the case for possible dark horses here.
We got Pragmata, which is the weird Capcom game that was announced when the PS5 was first revealed, I think, or shortly after, where we saw like the astronaut in Times Square, but then it turns out, oh, that was like a sphere inside on the moon or something, and he was with some weird girl and everything. We have heard nothing about it since then. We just know it got delayed to this year, I believe. Hopefully we see it. Hopefully we see something for it. I want to know what the heck that game is because we know nothing about it at all. Got Kojima levels of secrecy going on there.
That one is not a dark horse.
It's an invisible horse. It's not even a horse yet. It's just the carriage. It's just the carriage there. That's it. Redfall. That's supposed to be coming. Rumor is that it's dropping on May 2nd. There was a leak of a date. It's not official, but I imagine we'll be hearing that date for sure at the developer direct from Xbox on the 25th. I hope it's a good game. Like I got to see more from it. I don't know if I'll play it. I'll probably play some of it because it's Game Pass. But if it seems like it's one where it's like you get way more out of it if you do co-op, I don't know if I'll play it then.
I mean, I'll definitely play it. I hope it's good. It seems like, so much of the Arcane's like legacy, or not legacy, but just like their specialty is the gameplay being super tight. And so hopefully that lends, it seems like that'll lend itself well here. But is it like, I feel like for a lot of people, it's kind of left them wanting a little bit and like wishing they had done something more ambitious. But not to me, not everything has to be like some big open world game. So I'm just curious if ultimately it becomes worth playing it relatively safe, at least from the outside looking in.
Yeah. Then we have Replaced coming some point this year. This is that cyberpunk-esque.
Yeah, I had to look it up.
Pixel art one.
This game looks rad.
It also, I've been in on this one since we first saw it. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one.
Blade Runner vibes for sure.
Yes, exactly. Sea of Stars, also one I'm in on.
I looked this one up. No, thank you.
What? Oh, man.
I'm not an 8-bit guy. Like, I'll just maybe, again, making more enemies here. Anytime I'm like the 8-bit style can be very played out to me.
I agree.
Like, Replaced gets away with it because of the Blade Runner vibes, because it doesn't feel like it's focusing on the fact that, oh, look, we're 8-bit. It just looks like the games of your childhood. It's like, it looks hazy from afar when you look at screenshots of Replaced. Couldn't even tell that it's 8-bit. You know, you're like, oh, and then you get closer and like, oh, that's cool how they're doing this. This is like just more of a classic standard 8, 16-bit, whatever game. It's a nice little art style for people that are into it. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, I've been into this one since it got first announced, so I'm definitely want to play it when it comes out. Hopefully, it drops at a nice time so it can, succeed, have room to breathe, and not be overshadowed by all the litany of other huge games that are dropping this year. Then there's Slitterhead, which is that survival horror esque type game or psychological horror type game that I think is coming from the creator of Silent Hill. And that's the one it's set in Japan, and like you have humans, but their heads split open and they're actually like weird type of creatures and stuff. Gotta know more about it, but I like the vibes.
Yeah, terrible name. But I do remember this game looking pretty cool. So this is something I would definitely consider. This is one, like, if it releases with other stuff, it would have to have really high reviews for me to be like, prioritize it. But at the same time, if it's in a slow period, it could do itself a favor. And I'd be like, yeah, I'll check it out regardless,
Yeah. We have Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, which I think saw some delays because of, everything going on in Ukraine and all like that. So maybe it comes out this year, but it seems like it could be cool. Wolf Among Us 2, I'm skipping over one real quick. Wolf Among Us 2, I like the first one. I'm happy there's a sequel coming. Whenever it comes, it comes. I will be there day one to play that game. And then Starfield, the final big one of the year, which again should be out by June. I'm in on it. I'm excited for this. I want it to be the game that we all want it to be. I want it to be that game where like it's a Bethesda RPG. And for Bethesda RPGs, you expect an immersive world or universe for you to just absolutely get lost in, whether that be losing your, like, physically being lost, like, oh wait, where the heck am I? But also like immersive loss where you just lose yourself in the game and just lose so many hours to it. I want it to be like that. I want it to be this just fresh start for Bethesda, to take us all in. We have the high fantasy from them. We have the post-apocalypse from them. Now we're going spacebound. Like, I want it to just give me stuff that I haven't seen from them before, while still doing the things that they do really well at the same time. There's a lot riding on it, and I hope they nail it. And even if they don't nail everything, I hope that they give us a good enough foundation for us to see the potential for more, for where they can go in the future.
Yeah. It looks kind of soulless to me. Bland. This one, so now that we're like through the games here, this is 100% the game for my category. Everyone else will probably love it and I will hate it. This is, I'm gonna play it. Of course, day one Game Pass just makes it easy. But I don't see it. Like, I get that everyone is taking basically how I talked about Rocksteady earlier, but I just feel like objectively what we've seen of it doesn't lend itself to a world. Like, there are systems, there's like stuff to do. I get that. But it's just showing kind of like a lot of stuff from my understanding as someone that hasn't really dabbled much in Elder Scrolls or Fallout, like bare minimum here. It's all about that world. It's all about seeing interesting things, meeting crazy characters, and having these crazy interactions that just feel fun and lived in. Nothing about Starfield even remotely screams that to me, right? Like, I'm not taking crazy pills here. We haven't really seen any interesting characters, any interesting scenarios. Like, that Starfield demonstration was not that crazy ass Fallout 3 demo back in, what was that, 08? Yeah, E3 08, where it was just like, holy shit, showing you VATS. Yeah, it was like Todd Howard came out. I remember that E3 vividly because I never heard of Fallout before. This is they announced Fallout 3, or I think maybe it had been announced, but they show gameplay for the first time. It's like a 20-minute demo of Todd Howard walking through Fallout 3, showing VATS, the VAT system, showing just like how they revamped everything. And it was like, oh man, this is sick. And it just really gave you a feel for the world. If that's what they thought this was, like, I'm not going to be in a Starfield. I know that for a fact. If there's more, if there's like, they're intentionally leaving out a lot, maybe I can find myself enjoying it. But I'm just kind of like, at this point, taking them at their face value because they seem pretty confident what's been shown off so far. And I'm not confident that what's shown off so far is all that special a game, just for me personally.
I think it's tough with Starfield because, going into that demonstration that we saw for it last, the hope we were all thinking, all right, this is Bethesda's next big IP. We were expecting to be blown away in some way, shape, or form. We're expecting it to be like look and feel radically different from a Bethesda RPG that we've once had before, whether it be Skyrim or Fallout. Maybe more so Fallout, since there, I guess, more direct comparisons as in like the type of gameplay you would have as opposed to high
post-apocalypse, closer to sci-fi than high fantasy. Yeah,
right. And then we saw the gameplay, and then there was at least I felt like this. I think I saw some other people saying this as well, where it's like, oh, the gameplay, the core gameplay, doesn't look that different from like your Fallout types of gameplay at all. And then like, yes, there's like the No Man's Sky, some elements of No Man's Sky, like the mining elements from planets, flying your ship around, really manually making your ship and all. Like I think we had expectations super high going into it, and then it was like, okay, hold on, it's a radically different environment, but the gameplay for what we've seen isn't radically different. And now that we have that expectation in mind, it's like, okay, it's not going to be some like drastic departure and all like that, but what is it doing that makes it unique to itself, that makes Starfield unique for the world that Bethesda is creating there? And I think, like you said, the thing about characters and all like that, I think me personally, I don't think you're going to be able to be like, oh man, the game is going to have some really crazy, really cool or interesting characters just off of a 20-30 minute gameplay demonstration that has to show up a bunch of different things at the same time.
Is it not concerning that they didn't show a single, like, I could be going crazy here, but did they even show any kind of like you running into a character? Like, it's not like saying like, oh, you just show me
some character conversations, but it was real brief, saying like, hey, there are some factions that you can join and all like that. And again, like that first look at Starfield we got was meant to be like, here's a bunch of different things about the game. You can expect character factions like from our other games that will be here. You could here's a look at some combat. Here's a look at some of the worlds. Here's a look at character creation. Here's a brief look at space stuff. Like it had to do a whole lot. So the next demonstration that we see for it, now that they've showed a bit of everything, I imagine they'll go a bit more in depth on each of those things. How in depth they go on each of those things, well, that's up for debate. But again, when it comes to the characters, I don't know how good a feel you'll get for it until the actual game is out and you can actually meet more characters and so on and so forth. I can think you can expect at least though what you would normally expect, what you would normally get from a Bethesda RPG in terms of character interactions and all like that. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm taking them at face value, what they've showed us. Show me, don't tell me. And they haven't shown that this, to me, it feels radically different, but only in the sense that like, okay, so this is a Bethesda RPG, but without the charm and like uniqueness. Instead, this is just a barren ass planet like that, or planets, because of the like vastness of it. And it seems like, did they say it was RNG'd or is it not RNG'd?
They said that
parts of it RNG'd and parts of it not.
They said that there's what, like 1,000 planets, and that they're procedural. That, yeah. I think they said that they're procedurally generated.
Yeah, so, or that's what I meant, procedurally, not RNG. But yeah,
which does raise some flags and raise some concerns, which is totally valid.
If it's No Man's Sky with conversation bubbles also generated, no thank you. Like, I'm sorry. I do not see it. Color me unimpressed. Not that it's like this is the worst game ever. It's just hype and expectations. And again, my expectations were lower than everybody else's. But even that, it's just like, and like, God, it's some of the hyperbole. Some people like, greatest game ever potential. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm sorry. I just do not see it. And again, I don't hate those other games. I'm not a big Skyrim guy, but I see the appeal. And I understand the charm in it. I'd probably be more inclined to like Fallout. I just really haven't dug deep in them. Because it's like, I like the setting and the vibe a little bit more. but again, there's charm. I get why those games are popular despite the bugs and everything. With Starfield, it's just like, okay, I guess, yeah, for people that were too cool for No Man's Sky once it bombed or something. Like, I don't know. That's the vibe I get from it so far. Prove me wrong, Bethesda. I will play it for sure. Just like I said, if I'm gonna be a hater about something, I would like to be an informed hater, especially because I'm gonna go to the mat on GOTYs next year that like this game will probably not be the GOTY.
I'm gonna start using the phrase, if I'm gonna be a hater, I want to be an informed hater. I like that phrase. Yeah. I like that phrase. I mean, that's my perspective too. I just never actually used it. I've just never really thought about a way to put that in words. If I'm gonna be a hater, I'm gonna be an informed hater. I like it. All right. So I guess real quick, we can just, what do you think is your personal game of the year going to be then? Because mine, I think, as of right now, it could be either Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth if it drops in 2023, or Spider-Man 2.
You only get one answer.
Well, that's the thing. It could be any of those three. I don't know. I don't have a specific.
Yeah, it's just a projection though. Like, what do you think? Like, if you had do the exercise, if you had to pick one, like what you truly looking forward, or like if I had to bet probability wise, knowing my taste, game expectations versus reality, what does that mean? You just think, obviously, if you're wrong, you prove it. That's a good thing because, good or bad, whatever. Some other game rose above those expectations and became,
dude.
For me, it's Tears. Like, of course, it's got to be Tears of the Kingdom. If it pulls it off, that's what it would be.
Right. But for me, I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh yeah, it's definitely 16. But then I'm like, oh wait, no, it's 7 Rebirth this year. It's gonna be that. It could be that. Then I'm like, oh wait, no, Spider-Man.
Don't pick 7 Rebirths. I feel like we laid out enough reasons that it won't be released this year, and we haven't got anything definitive. I feel like you can say expectations wise that it may not release. There's like an 80% chance of that. So just like probability wise, rule it out.
Yeah, so we could probability wise rule out 7 Rebirth from the conversation. Then it comes down to, I think, 16 and Spider-Man 2. I think, I'm not gonna lie, but we've seen very little. I think Starfield has a shot because, again, of Bethesda's pedigree, and I know the feel I get from Bethesda's RPGs. I still need to see more from it though. So as of right now, I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be like in the running, but like next time we see it, I might feel differently. So it's really between like 16 and Spider-Man 2. I feel like it could go either way.
Just pick one. Which one's more likely to live up to the hype for you?
Oh my god, that's tough. I'll say Spider-Man just because.
Okay, so you went with safe instead of like, because I feel like Spider-Man's a safer play. I feel like we know that's going to be good, but what if like 16 blows your tits off? You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. 16 was my gut. I actually went against my gut and said Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because I actually didn't think Spider-Man, when the first one came out, I gave it a 9, but for some reason, I don't know why, when everyone was like, oh yeah, it's a Game of the Year contender, it's a Game of the Year nominee, I was like, really? You sure about that one? I don't know why, but in retrospect, I actually understand. No, wait, no, yeah, that's definitely a GOTY nominee right there. But I don't know why, like 16, something about it. And that's why I was like, that was my gut, but I went against it with Spider-Man. So.
All right. Now, what do you think will be the most disappointing?
The most
for you personally?
For me personally, I think the most disappointing, and I'm just going by the ones that I have highlighted here on this list, because those are the ones that I know for a fact, like I definitely gonna play, want to do something with. And well, even everything else here that I have written down. Most disappointing for ones that I actually have stake in any way, shape, or form. I was gonna say Forspoken, but it's not that. My expectations are already set for that.
That doesn't count.
They're already set. It's going to actually. Well, all right. It's the one that I think will be most disappointing. Correct?
Yeah, you're like, I can see how this kind of may. You're like, I hope it's good still. For me, if you want a moment to think over your answer, I'm gonna go against what I said earlier, because my what I said earlier was purely out of belief, like out of hope. But like, this is reality setting in. It could be Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Like, I want it to be good. I do believe that, like, you know what, Rocksteady's just gonna make it. But it's like, if something was disappointing, I feel like there's giant neon arrows pointing towards that. Because like Spider-Man 2, I thought about being a little hot takey, but it's like I just feel like there's a bar of quality. It'll be an 8.5 no matter what. Will it be disappointing if it's not like a 10? Yeah, but like an 8.5 still a good game. I think there's a possibility Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League sucks. It's in the realm of possibility. I want it to be great. I'm putting the hope and the belief out there that it's great. But if I had to bet on like a big game for me that I'm excited for being disappointing, this would be it.
Yeah, that's what's going to be for me. I think going into the episode, I was thinking it would be Star Wars Jedi, but not it's Suicide Squad because again, like I just feel so I'm not sure what to think about it right now, and just
and I think I feel like we've gotten tangible enough proof that it feels like it, or even it looks like, I guess I could say that it's going to be better than its predecessor, which I think maybe even if it's not a 10 out of 10, I think its predecessor wasn't a 10 out of 10. So it's either, to me, it's either level or it's like it'll improve upon. So I don't know.
Suicide Squad, it's like we got the 4-player thing going on, which is fine, but I'm wondering, like, we still don't know. All right.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like live servicey? Is there going to be loot stuff and crafting things involved? How heavy is it going to be on the co-op? Do you need to co-op and everything and all like that? Like, there's so many unknowns with Suicide Squad that still have me like so on the fence about it, although I want to play it, that like I can easily see that being the one that disappoints me the most.
For me, it could have been Redfall, but I don't have enough. I feel like I don't have enough expectation to like really unfairly. Like if it's mid, I'll be like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
Next up, one for me, which I already talked about, Starfield is the game that I feel like everybody will love, and I'm going to hate. The hater award. I feel like this is what I'm projecting. I'm just
the biggest hater.
I'm open to it being good, but I'm just saying right now, if I hate it, everybody leave me alone.
The one that I won't like that I think everyone else will.
Is yours Tears of the Kingdom?
No. I don't think I'll hate that game. No. Like I think at bare minimum, I'll like it and enjoy it as much as I enjoy Breath of the Wild, which I enjoy Breath of the Wild. Like I said, if I was to review it, I'd give it like an 8 or 8.5. Like I'm not sitting here saying that like if you consider me a hater for saying it's not a 10 out of 10, then call me a hater. Then I guess I'd feel the same.
I do consider you a hater for that.
No, the one that I think I'll hate that everyone else will like, of course, that I would realistically play as well, would probably be I was gonna say Street Fighter 6, but like that's not fair because I'm not even really a fighting game person.
Yeah.
So like it wouldn't be fair for me to say that. I
go out on a limb and say maybe you'd have to play it. You know what I mean? Like but like because of your natural aversion from it, you may not play it anyways. Because I'm a little more open to playing games that I know I'm gonna hate.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be Street Fighter on that level, but like if we're being realistic, if I'm being honest and looking at the games here that like I'm excited for, right? And what I think people are going to be like going head over heels for, crazy for, and stuff like that, it's probably going to be Star Wars.
I could see that, yeah.
And then
you don't think Jedi Fall, you don't think the first one is as good as a lot of people believe.
No, I think Fallen Order is an 8 at best.
So if people are going bananas for the new one and you feel like it's the same, that could create a little hater, you know. You could be like the resentment could build up there and you could be like these fanboys.
Right. Like I think Survivor looks like it's like a marginal improvement, not marginal, I'm using solid, the wrong word. Solid improvement over Fallen Order so far from what we've seen. But at the end of the day, I won't be surprised if I play it and I'm like, it's a good game. It's a good Star Wars game.
Yeah, and then the people are like, GOTY.
It's not like
it might get under your skin a little.
Here. I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not a GOTY. Calm down. Okay? Jeez. And then the Dark Horse, right? What is our Dark Horse? So what do we think?
There's so many. There's so many good indies that I could see being it for me, but I'm just gonna stick what I said at first. Atomic Heart could be because it's like a coin flip. Is this gonna be Transcendent? Is it gonna be B-movie slosh that I love but isn't like anything special? But it could be. I feel it that it could be special. So that's my dark horse.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna say is my dark horse, and you might be a bit surprised by me saying this. All right, my dark horse is gonna be PSVR 2. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
I'm going with that as the dark horse because I think you have people that are excited for it because they're either A, PlayStation fans, or P, VR, or B, VR fans, right? But then you have so many people against it because of the price, because it is VR, so it's already like there's just two giant mountains you got to surpass just to even be interested in it on that level alone. Then there's the
Yeah.
launch lineup as well as Sony's not so great track record of supporting certain ventures, aka PS Vita. So like it has a lot going against it, but it also has things going for it. And I really think that people will be surprised by how good PSVR 2 is. And people like they'll read about it and they'll see reviews and be like, man, like this does look really cool. People are saying
Yeah.
all these great things about it. And of course, with VR, you don't really understand how great it is until you experience it yourself.
Yeah.
So
It's
like
so sick.
it's tough to really sell VR to someone without them just by reading or like them
Yeah.
seeing video of VR. Like it's very different. But I think at the end of the year, we'll be talking about, or at least at the end of the year, PSVR 2 will have proved that it is very good quality and the tech is worth the money. And hopefully by the end of the year, it'll have the game lineup to back all that up as well. Or at least
I'm with you on
it'll
the first
have
two. I don't know if I have much belief in the third
that's
one.
why I said hopefully by the end of the year. If it doesn't at that point have the game lineup, like, hey, a currently released lineup to back it up, it'll have a currently released lineup and a future that we can see in terms of games to back up. Be like, hey, this is what's here now.
Yeah,
This is
I
what's
mean,
coming. PSVR 2 is the thing.
this is why it's a dark horse. It's not a slam dunk. It's just something you got a feeling about.
Yeah.
But I respect it. It's an unusual one for sure. But I'm not like surprised. But no, I'm not like, oh man, I thought you might go Tears of the Kingdom, which I thought would be funny.
I would never do that. It's not a dark horse in any way, shape, or form.
Well, for you though, it's about personal dark horse.
Right. Oh, so yeah, I guess.
Like if Tears of the Kingdom ended up being your GOTY, I feel like that would be a dark horse. Like even though obviously it's a game that's going to be plenty of people's GOTYs, I assume it would like for yours. There's so many you specific games I feel like within this lineup, and we don't even know what the second half officially has. That it would be an upset for sure. But
no, yeah, I guess I was thinking dark horse, like, oh yeah, dark horse for the year. That's why I said PSVR 2. I guess I could still stand by that, but if we're getting personal, like for me, what do I think will be a personal dark horse for myself? Like, oh man, this game actually, or this game, I could see this game potentially being like, oh whoa, it ended up being like that for me. It's probably Tears of the Kingdom, or well, I say probably because I'm going based off of okay, I will go into it at least liking it. The dark horse part of it is me being like, whoa, it's hitting on a level.
Finally,
it's hitting
reconnecting with your inner child and experiencing some Nintendo magic.
Not even that. I'd say like it's hitting. Tears of the Kingdom would be like it would hit dark horse status if it hits me the way that Breath of the Wild hit everyone else. That would have to be the dark horse. It would have to do that to be dark horse for me. But it's either that I'll go with that. But if it's not that, it would be Street Fighter 6.
And then my fun, just bonus for the memes category is what would be the funniest game to get delayed out of 2023?
Oh dear God, the funniest.
And I thought about Tears of the Kingdom being it, but honestly, you saw my pessimism. Like I feel like a lot of Zelda fans are in that same mindset. If Starfield gets delayed, it's going to be fucking hilarious.
If it was, so if it was Tears of the Kingdom, it would be hilarious for sure.
But like we'd all expect it. We're just like, yeah.
I don't expect it. I don't.
I'm saying Zelda. Like I feel like all the Breath of the Wild fanboys are just like, yeah. Well, like we don't. When it happens, it happens. It's a surprise to us too.
You said Starfield. That would be hilarious
because they've made such a big deal about the whole year thing, and it was just like, if somehow that game doesn't get released, someone at Bethesda's getting fired. That would be funny.
Like, because I was gonna
I'm just saying.
originally I was gonna
Nice
say
Phil's
Avatar.
gone.
Originally, originally I was gonna say Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. That would be the funniest, just because like we've heard about it, we knew it existed for a while, and then we finally saw that trailer years ago, and like we still haven't seen anything for it. But no, the answer is Starfield. Like they announced when they had that trailer when in 2020, was it 2020? I think they had a trailer in
I think
2020,
so.
yeah, and they made a big deal about like, oh yeah, it's releasing on 11/11/21, and then December like 2021 comes around. Yeah, no, it's not happening. We're delaying it to 2022. Sorry, that date never happened. And now it's
No,
like,
I think they made a
okay,
big deal about 11/11/22. Remember, because wasn't that
oh,
the
whatever.
whole?
Well, yeah, I think
Yeah, because
whatever.
it was
Yeah,
11 years from Skyrim. Yeah, there
yeah,
was like 11/11. Yeah, blah blah blah.
yeah. There you go. That's what it was. 11/11/22. Like they made a big deal about that, and it's like that
And for
didn't
it to not
happen.
hit by a year,
Yeah,
oh
and then
my
it's just
god, that would be
like
so funny.
it would suck for sure, but it would be hilarious. That is a very good one right
I
there.
mean, I can wait. I'm fine, but
Oh yeah, I'm fine waiting
it
too.
would
We
be
have more
freaking
than enough games
hilarious.
to see there. Oh boy. Well, that is our 2023 hype. A lot of great games coming this year. And we have actually gone way longer on just that alone than I intended us to or expected us to. So here's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna do what we've been playing. We'll save that next week. Yet
It'll
again,
be
we will
boring
save
next week anyway, so it's fine.
yeah, we'll save it for next week. It's fine. To answer your crisis core question, I will answer it next week because it's a bit more of a conversation, a bit
I
more to
may
talk
just
about
have
with it.
bought Crisis Core by then, so who knows? We'll
We'll
see.
see. But we will do our brief mentions real quickly because there's really only 6 of them here. It's fine. And some of them we already talked about too. PlayStation, they announced Project Leonardo, which is their accessibility controller, which is awesome, fantastic, great to see them doing stuff in that realm. We already talked about the Xbox Developer Direct that got announced. We also talked about Ubisoft delaying Skull and Bones again and some of the tough times they're going through. The DICE Awards, those are happening, of course, and the nominees, all the nominees got announced. I'm only going to read off the Game of the Year nominees here because there's a lot of categories they have. But the Game of the Year nominees they have God of War Ragnarok. I only have God of War here. My bad. But God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, which again blows my mind that it keeps getting GOTY nominations, and Vampire Survivors, all nominated for Game of the Year at the DICE Awards. If you want to see the full list, you can easily find it online. Some of the devs from Playground Games have left the studio to go start their own team. I believe they said they're making a AAA adventure game or something along those lines. I forgot exactly what type of game it is that they're making, but they're doing their own thing now, so good for them. I think one of the devs who left is also, I think, like a direct. I think they're like one of them was a director on Forza Horizon 5, I believe. It was someone like high up of high importance. But also shockingly, Justin Roiland, the co-creator of Rick and Morty and co-founder of Squanch Games, which recently put out High on Life, has been charged with domestic battery and false imprisonment because of a case from 2020. Very shocking. That's a story that's still developing and all like that, but definitely makes you wonder. Okay, how long is High on Life going to be on Game Pass? How long is that going to still be there?
I think for legal reasons, it's probably on there
Yeah.
for a while, but fuck that guy. And listen, if you're a Rick and Morty fan that's all mad at this, don't be mad at this, first of all. Believe the victim. It's okay. You're not a bad person for liking Rick and Morty.
Right.
And there might not be any more to be made. So you can just reminisce on all the seasons you watched where you didn't know he was a bad guy.
Well, I mean, again, also for legal reasons, I imagine that they still got to get another season or like however many seasons they're contracted for out with Cartoon Network. But we'll see.
If he's in, yeah, who knows? If
well,
he's
it depends on what happens
whatever.
with this case and all like that, since he voices the main 2 characters. We'll see what happens. Not good news though. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up this episode of the Play to Win podcast. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening. It was a packed one. It was a fun one though. I love getting hyped for these games with you. It's always fun doing that.
Watching and listening to the Haters and Hype Guide to 2023.
Informed haters in Hype Guide.
The informed hater and Hype Guide, yeah, for 2023.
Remember, check out the site playtowingames.wordpress.com. It's a home for all of our content, so go and check that out. Follow us over on Twitter and Instagram at Play2Win Game for updates on the show. Might be adding a new social to that some point soon. I'm not going to say what or when, I'm thinking about it. Might happen.
The TikTok.
Probably. Probably the clock app. That's it's I'm considering the clock app, thinking about it. So of course, also subscribe on YouTube, turn on the notification bell. Let us know in the comments below what you're hyped for. What are your dark horses? What do you think is going to be disappointing? So on and so forth. And also subscribe and leave that 5-star review on podcast services. It helps out a bunch and it's very much appreciated. Tyler, where can people find you?
Good Game We Lost, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Check it out. I've had, plenty of fun stuff up there. I was debating doing another countdown, doing my top 5 favorite of 20 or like most anticipated 2023. So I'm going to put that.
Oh man. Hold on. Oh, there you are. No, sorry, you froze up for a second. I was like, wait a second.
Oh, yeah, you froze up on my end as well.
So I was looking at my router. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. No.
Oh, yeah, your name with the little, it got yellow there for a second, but we're good now. It's white, so I think we're good.
Yeah, but you were saying you thinking of putting up your top 5 most anticipated for 2023 over up on TikTok and stuff. So yeah, go check it out. And you could follow me over on Twitter at TylerMiller2496, where I've been, tweeting about some of the games I've been playing, posting some Zelda footage and everything like that from my gameplay and everything. It's been a fun time over there. So follow me, chat with me. I'm happy to talk with you guys. And all that said, that's going to wrap it up. So thank you all so very much for watching and or listening, and we will talk with you all next time. Have a great one.
Good one, everyone.